So good morning, everyone. We are going to start this morning in child's pose. And I've given a couple options depending on your flexibility. You can bring your feet together and your knees wide. And if you're quite comfortable with your bum towards the heels, that's fantastic. If you're not, you have any problem in the knees or just lengthening the hamstrings, you can bring a bed pillow. And then go ahead and bring yourself onto the mat. If the forehead doesn't come onto the mat, of course, bring your bed pillow between the legs. And then you can place one cheek or the other on the mat. So find your child's pose and just take a few breaths here to arrive. Feel how the breath expands in the body and allows the body to start opening. And then when you feel ready, turn your child's pose sunny side up by just rotating the palms towards the ceiling. And just breathe into it. With each inhalation, feeling the expansion in the body, and with each exhalation, letting the body feel heavy, letting the tailbone move towards the heels. We'll take about 5 more breaths here. With each one, just allowing the back to open, allowing the tailbone to come closer to the heels. Allowing the shoulder blades to come away from the ears and together towards each other on the back. And then on your next exhalation, we'll start bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Sit ourselves up and then come down onto the belly. So walk the legs out. Shake the hips a little side to side so you can walk the feet out towards the edge of the mat. And then we'll stack the forearms of the wrists and just bring the forehead onto the wrists. And take about 5 big, deep belly breaths here so that you can feel the floor underneath you, feel the compression in the stomach as you inhale. Fill the lungs to full capacity. Feel the compression of the organs as they press into the floor and the belly. And then we're going to open up in crocodile here. We're going to glide the right leg open so that the knee is 90 degrees out from the body. And then you can even pick up the leg and draw it more towards the right so that the pelvis comes more onto the mat. And just breathe into any tension, any tightness, exhale it out. We're going to focus on getting a little bit more into the connective tissue today. Still flowing, but working to open up that fascia. Go ahead and find one more full breath in and a full breath out. And then draw the right leg back to the left, shake the hips a little side to side, and then open up that left knee. And once again, if the pelvis feels quite lifted from the floor, just pick up the left leg or slide the left knee towards the left. And then just settle into the pose. Each breath, just allowing the pelvis to come a little closer to the floor. Opening up that left hip joint. One more breath here. And then pick that left leg up. Let the left and right feet come together. Shake the hips a little side to side. And then we're going to open the arms wide and take a nice deep shoulder opener. So start by walking the left fingertips out towards the left so you can roll onto the left side body. Keep the right hand in front of the face to start. And then you can have your legs extended. You can kickstand your leg up either in front or behind the extended left leg. And then use your hand and your foot to help you find the juicy part that can unwind and relax. So we don't want too much tension in the head or the neck. And once you find that, you can release the hand from in front of the face, bring the back of the palm either to the sacrum or perhaps even float your wing up. And then just use the breath. Once you find the shape. And if this feels like a lot on the neck to let the head hang, you can even have a block underneath the head. And we'll find about 5 more breaths here. Directing the breath to anywhere you feel tension. Keep allowing those shoulder blades to glide behind you together towards one another. One more full breath in. Full breath out. And then if the hand is behind you, go ahead and bring it back in front of the face. Extend both legs, roll onto the belly. Shake the hips a little side to side. And then same pose on the other side. This time moving towards the right. So walk those right fingertips out as you roll onto the right side body. And then with your hand in front of your face, figure out where your foundation is going to be, where the leg can be either kickstanded or extended. Maybe both knees are bent and stacked. See if you want to block underneath your head. Press into the juicy part of that shoulder, and then if it feels nice, you can take your hand either up, opening your wings, or back of the hand on the sacrum. And just breathe and direct the breath. Notice how those shoulder blades keep moving towards each other. They're not locked, they're just allowing a little fluidity to come in with the breath. Find another full breath in, full breath out. And then if the hand is behind you, go ahead and bring it back in front of the face. Roll back onto the belly, shake the hips a little side to side. And then take just a few grounding breaths here into the belly. So stack the wrists and forearms. Breathe and inflate the belly so you feel that compression of the floor underneath the belly. This is one of the most grounding things you can do if you're suffering from anxiety. Just let the body relax onto the mat with the exhale. Take one more big belly breath. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Draw yourself up into a tabletop. Make the fingers bright and just take some hip circles here. Notice where the circle might not be round. Press into those areas. The next time the buttocks are towards the heels, pause, change the direction. And then find your neutral tabletop. Take a full breath in, untuck the toes. As you exhale, let the crown of the head come towards the mat. Find your cat. And when you're ready to inhale, tuck the toes, look forward, find your cow. With your own breath, untuck the toes, find cat. Really pressing to the belly button, pressing into the heart to round the back. On the inhale, drawing yourself forward. Shoulder blades together in the back, heart open. And then this time we'll untuck the toes, find cat, rounding the back, and then press into the hands on the exhale, moving into child's pose, expelling all the stale air. Pause at the bottom of the breath, and then come forward into tabletop, tuck the toes, find your cow, shoulder blades together in the back. A few more like that. Exhale, finding cat, rounding the back, and then let that movement be juicy as you just draw yourself back into child's pose. Pause at the bottom of the breath. And when you're ready to inhale, finding cow, coming forward. Go ahead and take one more like that. Really rounding the back, letting it be nice and slow and juicy. As you inhale into cow, really noticing how those shoulder blades come together in the back, heart opens. And then find your way back to your neutral tabletop. We're gonna open the shoulders the other way now. So lift up the right arm. Take some circles with the right hand and then pause. Take the circle the opposite direction. And then draw the right hand up towards the ceiling. We're gonna thread the needle underneath the left armpit. So reaching underneath the left armpit, keep reaching until you can bring the right shoulder onto the mat. The hand can stay on the floor for a moment. Find that juicy spot again. Use the hand to help you find the pose. So you want the weight off the neck. Bring the weight onto the shoulder. And then if it serves you, you can reach that left hand up and reach for the right hip. Directing your breath to anywhere there's tension on the inhale and exhaling that tension out. Three more breaths here. And if you've drawn the left hand behind you, go ahead and bring it back in front of the face. Press into the left hand. Draw the right arm up. Take a circle each direction. And then both hands back to the mat. Same thing other side. Lift that left arm up. So we're rotating through the joint. Pause, change the direction of the circle so we can lubricate the joint. And then left arm up to the ceiling. Exhale it, reach underneath the right armpit. Keep reaching until the shoulder comes onto the mat. Press into the hand. So I'm bringing the weight onto the shoulder, but I'm also adjusting the hips so I'm not putting all the weight on one leg or the other, but evenly on the knees. And then once you find that, you can lift that hand up, reach for the opposite hip crease, and just settle in for about 5 breaths. Remember to breathe in spaciousness into anywhere you're feeling tension. Exhale that tension out. And if you've reached behind you to the opposite hip crease, go ahead and draw that hand back in front of the face. Press yourself up. Rotating through that shoulder. Just take a big circle with the hand. And then back to your tabletop. We'll just take that cat-cow flow for a few rounds here. Take a full breath in, untuck the toes. Exhale into cat. Press yourself into child's pose. Notice if it feels any different than your first child's pose. Take a pause at the end of the breath, and then inhale yourself into cow. One more like that. Exhale, round the back. Child's pose. And then back into cow. We'll go ahead and extend the legs, coming down into plank. And then we're gonna bring our forearms onto the mat and find forearm plank. Keep the belly button coming towards the spine, crown of the head extending up on the balls of the feet. Take one more full breath in, full breath out. We're gonna turn the left forearm so it's parallel with the top of the mat and come into a side plank on the forearm. You can bring your hand to your hip if that's available to you. If this doesn't feel quite available, just kickstand your leg here and keep lifting through the hips. If this is really available to you, you can bring your right hand up, and we'll just take 5 breaths here, extending and then drawing the knee and the elbow together. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Now let's count 2 more. Get into those obliques. Beautiful. Take another full breath in, and then we're gonna turn back onto the forearms. Find your forearm plank for a moment, and then we'll turn the right arm parallel with the top of the mat. And then remember, you can kickstand that left leg if you need a little extra support there. Otherwise, you can have your hand extended on the waist, or you can really get spicy here. One more. Beautiful. And then go ahead and draw yourself back into forearm plank. Take a breath in and see if you can press yourself up into your regular plank. And then we're going to lower ourselves down on the count of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way onto the belly. Coming into Sphinx pose here. But taking Sphinx sunny side up. So forearms are on the mat. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Walk your feet back if you have any tightness in the lower back. And then press into the forearms and the backs of the hands. Draw the shoulder blades together. Heart opens out. Shoulders coming away from the ears. Allowing those shoulder blades to just glide together on the back. 3 more breaths here. So you're quite active. Beautiful. Bring yourself down a little bit, hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes, find your tabletop. Take some hip circles here. Noticing where there's tightness, where it can be released. And then we're going to press up into a downward dog. So make your fingers bright. Press in the hands, lift the knees, keep the knees bent for a moment. And then find your dog and just take your dog for a little walk. Pressing one heel towards the mat, keeping the other knee bent and the heel lifted. Take a full breath in. And then press into the other heel. So moving nice and slow and juicy today. And then see if you can find stillness there for just a breath. Bringing both heels equally down. And then we'll lift that right leg up, bend the right knee, draw a big circle with the knee. Pause, take the circle the opposite direction. And then level off the hips. We'll step that right foot forward, left knee on the mat. Coming into our low lunge. Find your foundation. And then draw the hands all the way up to the ceiling. Looking between the hands. Take a little bit of a back bend. And then draw the hips forward and down. Take another full breath in. Full breath out. And then bringing the hands together in prayer, draw the prayer back to the heart, press the thumbs into the sternum, and then we'll take a twist to the right. So bring the left arm over the right thigh. Press the bones together to come deeper into the twist. With each inhalation, feeling the expansion of the body, with the exhalation, going a little deeper. One more breath here. On an inhale, go ahead and unwind yourself. Take a moment, look up, let yourself have a little back bend. Make sure you're drawing the hips down and forward. And then we're gonna come with the fingertips onto the mat inside the right foot. Walk the right foot out. And we'll come into gecko here. So walk your right foot out to the right. And start with the foot flat on the mat so the knee is forward. And then you can see if you can bring your left arm down, perhaps onto a block, perhaps all the way into the mat. Perhaps you're just here with your arms extended, or even one down, one up. Once you find the pose with your arms, you're welcome to open up the leg so that you're on the blade of the foot and the sole of the foot is off the floor. See if you can find a few more breaths here. So we're really working today into the joints. A lot of us have been sitting in front of the computer a lot, so working those hips and those shoulders so you can go have fun for the weekend. Another full breath in, full breath out. And then walk your hands back underneath the shoulders, step yourself back, find your plank. Lower down the knees, bring the chest and chin between the hands, roll yourself forward, find cobra. And then exhale yourself back. Find your downward dog. You can still be walking out your dog. We'll be here about 5 more breaths. And then see if you can find stillness. And then go ahead and inhale, left leg up. Take that left knee in a circle one direction. Pause, take the circle the opposite direction. Level up the hips, step forward for a low lunge. Inhale the hands all the way up to the ceiling. See if you can look between the hands and then lower the hips and draw them forward. So you're opening up the front of the right quad. One more breath here, extending. And then draw the hands together in prayer, turning to take the twist towards the left leg. Really press those arm bones together. And then on your exhale, let that take you deeper into the twist. One more full breath in and a full breath out. And then releasing, drawing yourself up for just a few breaths, finding that extension in the spine, drawing the shoulder blades down the back. And then we're gonna walk the foot out towards the left. Extend the right leg long, so you're starting in gecko. Remember, you can use a block. See if you can bring one forearm down and one arm extended. Perhaps both forearms down. And once you find your foundation here, let yourself have a full breath with the foot on the mat. And then you can let that left knee move towards the left so that the sole of the foot is off the mat and you're just on the blade of the foot. Find just a few more breaths here. And then go ahead and walk yourself back up. Come back into your tabletop. Just check with yourself. Use this as a barometer just to see where the body's at. Move the fluids through the hip joints. And then tuck the toes. Find puppy pose with your bent knees. And then make your way to downward dog. 5 breaths here. Stay with that belly breath that we started with. See if you can make your breath nice and long. And see if you can bring the inhale and the exhale to be the same length. And then go ahead and press yourself up into plank. Lower down the knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale back, downward dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And then draw yourself forward into plank. One more time, we're gonna lower ourselves down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw the hands behind you, interlace the fingers. Half locust, press the tops of the feet into the mat and then rise up. Now you can stay just rising up for 5 breaths, or you're welcome to exhale down and inhale up. Yogi's choice. Let those shoulder blades keep coming together. Two more. Press into the tops of the feet to help rise up. And then exhale all the way down, release the hands, draw yourself up into tabletop, and then cross the feet and come onto the buttocks. We're gonna take cow face pose. So bring your right knee in front of you, and then see if you can stack your left knee on top. If this isn't quite available to you, you can have your right leg extended with the left knee on top. So find your foundation and then lift the buttocks so you can get the sits bones evenly on the mat. And then bring your heels of your hands to the top of the ankles. So I'm just bringing the heel of my hand right inside the ankle there. And we're gonna release that fascia from the legs by just leaning in to that calcaneus, that ankle bone. And just lean in, press yourself from one side to the other. One more breath. And then set the hips down. Draw the arms out to either side. We'll swoop the left arm underneath the right, bend the elbows, palms together. So you have eagle arms. And then lift the elbows up, opening those shoulders. And then if it's available to you, you can start to lean forward. Perhaps you can hook the elbows over the knee and then bring the forehead into that crook of the elbows. If that doesn't feel quite available, use your props so that you can find the pose here that you can lean into. And then with the breath, notice how the breath expands the space between the rib cage. And notice how it expands the shoulder blades, and just see if you can let that breath glide the back open. See if you can find 3 more breaths here. Let the hips be heavy. And then on an inhale, draw the head up. Bring the arms with you, unwind the arms. And we're just gonna rotate the palms towards the ceiling, allowing the shoulder blades to come down the back, and then release. We'll take the other side. So this time stacking the left knee underneath, or perhaps extending the left leg, and then bringing the right knee on top. And then lifting into the pelvis, get yourself symmetrical, and then bringing the bottom of the hand, right where the wrist and the palm meet, and just leaning into that ankle bone, the bottom of the calcaneus. So all the fascia of the leg connects at this bottom of the calcaneus, right along the sides and the bottom. So just leaning into that. And then setting the hips down, arms to either side. This time we're gonna swoop the right arm underneath the left. Bend the elbows, palms together. Once you find that, lift the elbows up. Feel that expansion in the shoulders, and then perhaps you can lean forward. Perhaps you want a cushion or a bolster, and then just place the forehead in the crooks of the arms. And just notice how that breath gives you expansion in the ribs. So you're just using the breath to go deeper into the pose. Just a few more here. And then go ahead and unwind the arms out to either side, turn the palms towards the ceiling, and just notice how that opens up here between in the clavicles, the heart, draws the shoulder blades together in the back. One more breath. And then go ahead and roll yourself forward, unwind yourself back into tabletop. Take some hip circles. And then tuck the toes, find downward dog. See if you can find stillness for one breath in downward dog. And then lower, bring yourself back into plank. You can lower the knees, chest, chin, just take a little flow here. Exhale yourself back, downward dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out. On the next inhale, let the right foot float up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, bring the right knee to the right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to the nose. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Coming into pigeon pose here. Place the right knee next to the right wrist. And we're going to take the right knee out beyond the hip. If that doesn't feel available to you, you can leave the knee in line with the hip, but see if you can find that outer rotation and then walk the left leg back behind you. Now, if the hips are a little off the mat, you have two choices. One is you can bring your bolster underneath the whole pelvis, or you can bring a block underneath the right butt cheek. And then we're going to bring a hand to the top of the thigh and another hand to the arch of the foot and just lean in. So we're on two different acupressure points here. So that same palm place where the wrist and the palm meet, I have in the arch of the foot, and the second one is just here above the kneecap. Take a full breath in, full breath out. And then see if you can just bend that extended leg up. You can stay with the leg extended, but perhaps see if you can bend it. You might even be able to reach back. See if you can find 5 more breaths here. And then if you're holding the leg, go ahead and extend it back. We'll walk the hands forward and put our little pigeon to sleep for a moment. Just 5 breaths. And then wake up your pigeon, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Step back into your downward dog. Draw that right leg up and make a big circle with the knee. And then place the right foot on the mat. On your next inhale, let the left leg float up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, left knee to the left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, left knee to the right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, draw the knee towards the nose, round the back. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. And then bring the left knee towards the left wrist. Walk the right leg out. And once again, you can move, if it's available to bring the left knee outside of the line of the left hip, do that. Bring your props underneath you. And then we're just leaning into this acupressure point right above the knee on the inside of the thigh and into the arch of the foot. And if there's any tension in the lower back, just walk your back foot out. And if it's available, you can bend the extended leg. If it's available, you can reach for that bent leg. See if you can find just a few more breaths. And if you're holding onto the foot, go ahead and release it down. And we'll put our little pigeon to sleep, 5 breaths. Just stack the wrists to the forearms. One more breath here. Direct your breath to anywhere you feel tension. And then hands back under the shoulders. Step yourself back. Find your downward dog. And then lift that left knee and just take a circle. See if you get any pop, 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 pop. And then place both feet on the mat. Coming forward into plank, taking your vinyasa if you want to stay with knees, chest, chin. If you want to chaturanga, coming into cobra or upward dog, and then back into downward dog. Take a full breath in, full breath out, and then draw yourself forward into plank. We're going to lower ourselves down to the count of 5. Keep the elbows tight against the ribs. 4, 3, hover, 2, 1. Draw yourself all the way onto the mat. This time we'll come into full locust. So interlace the hands behind you and then inhale, drop. So I'm reaching the knuckles towards the heels and allowing those shoulder blades to open up. Bringing the shoulder blades together in the back, opening up the clavicles and the fronts of the shoulders. Keep lifting. 2 more breaths. And then release yourself back onto the mat, hands underneath the shoulders. Coming back through your tabletop, just taking that gauge with yourself, making the hip circles to notice what's changing in the body. And then cross the feet at the ankles, coming back into a bridge prep. Knees towards the ceiling. See if you can graze your fingertips on the back of the ankles. If you'd like a little extra spice, bring the block between your legs. Take a breath. Notice what you're feeling in the body. And then we're going to extend the arms alongside the body. And on the next exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine towards the mat, and then press in the feet to lift the hips. Draw your arms up so you can make a big arch overhead. Keep lifting the hips. Take a full breath in. And then on the exhale, rolling back down the back with control. So you're letting the upper back, middle back, and then the lower back last. See if you can feel each part of the back. We're going to do that 2 more times. Take a full breath in, exhale. Moving through each part of the spine, drawing a big arch up overhead, pressing into the feet. Taking a full breath in at the top, and then moving on the exhale. So the block between the thighs, you're squeezing the block. Take a recovery breath at the bottom, 1 more. Exhale. Take a full breath in at the top, and then exhale yourself all the way back down. Go ahead and remove the block. We're going to take that same back bend this time. We're going to hold for 5 counts. So this time, leave your arms alongside the body. Elbows can be bent. Full breath in, As you exhale, belly button towards spine, press into the feet, coming up onto the shoulders. Keep lifting the hips and then really walk the shoulder blades together and then interlace the hands. Press into those upper arm bones. Press into the feet, keep lifting the pelvis. Two more breaths. And then release the hands behind the back. Lower down with control. So you feel each little part of the back come onto the mat. Keep the pelvis lifted. And then set it down. We'll take a twist here. And it's going to be yogi's choice. So you can either have twisted roots with the knees stacked, or you can do a double leg twist. I really like a double leg twist. We're gonna hold this one for about 10 breaths. So we're gonna go to the left. So if you're doing twisted roots, have the right leg stacked over the left. If you're doing double leg twist, see if you can bring your block between the hips and then lift the pelvis, take it over to the right, set it down, and then take both legs over to the left. Now, if your right shoulder starts to keel up a lot, you can have a bolster underneath the legs. Once you find your foundation with the legs, press into the arm bones, lift both shoulders, and see if you can bring the shoulders more evenly onto the mat. And then opening up in the neck, start gently looking over towards the right, but don't crane it. Just let the weight of the head start taking the head a little over to the right. With each breath, letting that head get a little heavier. Notice any little twitches or unwinding in the body as you let go with each exhalation. One more full breath in and a full breath out. And then draw yourself back up. Lift the hips back up to find symmetry. And then if you're taking your twisted roots, you're going to take the left leg over the right. Otherwise, you can take, if you're taking a double leg twist, either way, see if you can move, lift the hips and bring the hips a little to the left. Draw the legs over to the right. And then once you find that in the legs, press into the arms, lift both shoulders, and see if you can bring the shoulders more evenly onto the mat. And then, if it serves you, let the head start getting heavy, looking to the left. Not pushing with the muscle, but just allowing the weight of the head to take itself. Deepening and lengthening the breath to go more profoundly into the pose. Noticing any twitches or unwinding in the body. So you can find just a few more breaths here. And then gently bringing yourself out of the twist. Bring the knees into the chest, rock a little side to side. And we're gonna take an inversion here. So again, yogi's choice. If you'd like to take legs up the wall, you can use a block or a real wall. Bring the block underneath your pelvis and then draw your feet up. If you'd like to take a shoulder stand, I encourage you to fold your mat so you have a little bit of space between, I'm gonna go ahead and double fold, between the shoulders and the neck. So either taking legs up the wall, you have time to move to a real wall if you'd like, or taking a shoulder stand. So the shoulders are on the folded mat, the head is off the mat. It gives you a little extra space in your cervical spine. To find your inversion, and remember, you really, if you're in shoulder stand, you want the weight on the arms and the shoulders, not too much on the neck. Whichever pose you're in, just relax into it. Let the reverse flow happen naturally. Let gravity do the work. If you're in shoulder stand, you can start to move the legs overhead and find your way into plow. If you're in plow, you can start to bend the knees, squeeze into the temple or close the ears off. If you're in legs at the wall, just enjoy it. Stay where you're at. And shoulder standers can extend the arms, again with control, feeling each part of the back come onto the mat ever so slowly. And then squeeze the knees into the chest, rock a little side to side. If you're in legs up the wall, go ahead and find a few more breaths there. And then bring the knees down, place the feet on the mat, take the block out. We'll all take a fish pose together. So roll onto one side of the body, place the whole arm underneath you, palm side down, and then roll back onto it so you're locked in there. Legs are in bridge pet with the knees bent. And then press into the arms, tuck the chin towards the chest, look towards the belly, extend the legs out, and then keep pressing into those lower arms and bring just the crown of the head onto the mat. Keep those shoulders coming together. So you're not placing a lot of weight on the head. It's almost just hanging there. The weight is on the arms to keep lifted. Keep drawing the shoulder blades together, heart open. Find about 5 more breaths here. To come out of the pose, you're going to press into those arms and draw the chin towards the chest. Look at the belly again, and then roll yourself back down. Remove the arms from underneath you. Shake the hips a little, do whatever you need to get your lower back on the mat, so you can either bring the knees in and walk the hips out. And then before we come into Shavasana, we're gonna take a banana. A little fruity morning. So walk your feet out to the left. Keep your hips heavy. If your right hip starts coming off, walk the feet back a little bit. We want both hips evenly on the mat. And then place the right ankle over the left. Walk the hands out, clasp onto the right wrist. Draw yourself up by holding on that right wrist, and then relax the hands, place one palm in front of the other. And with each breath, feel that right side body opening up. So using just the breath to get in there. Make a little space between the ribs. Just a few more breaths here. And then you can release the hold of the ankles, walk the feet back to the center, walk the hands back to the center. Extend to the toes, extend to the fingertips, and then walk your feet over to the other side. So this time the left ankle goes over the right, clasp onto the left wrist. Extend, use that right arm muscle to just extend the left side body a little bit, and then relax the hands so one palm's just inside the other. And then just using the breath to come into the pose. Just a few more breaths here. And then release the hold of the ankles, walk everything back to center, get nice and long, and then draw the knees towards the chest. You can either just squeeze the knees in to flatten that lower back, or you can come into a happy baby. Just so that you get that expansion of the lower lumbar on the mat. And then make your way to Savasana. Extend the legs long. Once again, draw the shoulder blades together behind you. Let the palms shine towards the ceiling. Let the eyes grow heavy. And let the mind stay alert as the body relaxes. So staying focused on what's going on inside the body. Noticing any unwinding or twitching. Just a few more breaths here. Each exhalation, see if you can let the body feel a little bit more connected to the earth, relaxing onto the mat. And then we're gonna roll to look over towards the right shoulder. So bringing the chin towards the right shoulder. Take a full breath in, and full breath out. And then roll the head over to look over towards the left. Bring the chin towards the left shoulder, full breath in, full breath out. One more time. Draw the head over to look towards the right. Bring the chin towards the right shoulder. This time we'll press the right side of the head into the mat to unwind the neck. So just very gently pressing either the right side of the head or the right temple. And then drawing the head back up. Same thing left side. So just Look towards the left and then just very gently press the left side of the head into the mat. And then back to center. Go ahead and wake up the hands, wake up the toes. Draw the hands up overhead, walk the feet towards each other, take a full body stretch. And then roll onto one side or the other. Use the arm as a pillow. Let the nourishment of the practice soak in here for a moment in fetal pose. And then go ahead and press yourself up to find a comfortable seat. And then just close off the eyes for a moment. Feel this connection between the body and the mind. Notice what's happened and changed in the body over the last 60 minutes. And then bring the hands towards the chest in prayer. Press the thumbs into the sternum. Honoring yourself for your practice, for brightening your light, and honoring all other beings on the planet. May we all remember we share the same light. Namaste.